Okay, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get started, right? All right. So, hey, Most High Christ bless everybody.
Most High Christ bless you too.
All right. So, all praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High and Yahweh Shai, whom the world calls Jesus Christ, for giving us the spirit to come here, fellowship, keep His commandments, learn what His will is. So, all praises. We're going to continue in the destruction of Nicanor and then going to Purim. We're going to fast forward to the end. So in the beginning, Israel brought these things down upon them because of the sins that they were committing. And as a result, the Lord had called the Greeks against them to make war and destroy a lot of our people, destroyed our people and wasted our sanctuary. And that was the beginning of the back and forth with wars with Esau. So now let's fast forward. Also, the war where they destroyed and we had to dedicate the altar, the temple, the altar back unto the Most High. That was doing the same, one of the escapades against these Greeks. So after that, we continued to be at war with them, and they continued to build their navies and their armies and all of that. And that's when Nicanor had arisen. He was one of them to coming up against us. So we're going to get a little background pertaining to him and go towards the end. So let's go to the second book of Maccabees. In verse chapter 10. Now Maccabeus and his company, the Lord guiding them, recovered the temple and the city. But the altars which the heathen had built in the open street, and also the chapels they pulled down, and having cleansed the temple, they made another altar, striking stones. They took fire out of them and offered a sacrifice after 2 years and set forth incense, lights, and shewbread. When that was done, they fell flat and besought the Lord that they might come no more into such troubles. So they wanted the issues and the problems of the heathens to go away. But if they had sinned any more against him, that he himself would chasten them with mercy, and that they might not be delivered into the blasphemous and barbarous nations who talk evil and talk praise and they don't care. Now, upon the same day that the strangers profaned the temple, the very same day was cleansed again, even the 25th day of the same month, which is Caslu. Now, we know that what that's going into. So I'm showing you the wars and the troubles and the issues that we had with them, but that it didn't go away. because sin didn't completely go away. And they kept 8 days with gladness as in the Feast of Tabernacles. Remember that they, not long before, they had held the Feast of Tabernacles when they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts. I mean, they were on a run and hiding. Therefore, they bore branches and fir broths and palms also, and sang psalms unto him that had given them good success in the cleansing of this place. So we see that part, right? All right. So, but it's not over, and it's not over. Why, Corey?
Because they still have to um,
Because Israel didn't stop sinning. So let this be an example that, like, if you sinned against the Lord, and then you ask the Most High for help, and then the Most High help you, and you go back to sin, what would you think? He's just gonna be like the first thing was a warning enough, and maybe you will stop tripping. No, he gonna come even harder, and that's what the next thing is gonna be. So that's the point of showing you that. All right. So let's lose that, and now you can't focus on the right, because we know that the ones that the Most High was guiding was righteous, but what about the other ones? Everybody got to be righteous. So do we understand? Like let's use us as an example. This assembly, you in this assembly, but you say, well, 90% of the people is righteous, and you're being wicked, and you know somebody else that ain't 100. You say, well, I think they wicked too. And you only think that they wicked because of what? Something that they do in their actions. The scriptures say you got to know them by their fruit. And somebody else is wicked. But overall, you are in the midst of a righteous situation. Well, in ancient days, the Most High calls everybody. He came down on everybody. Because coming down on everybody, like remember when we were in school and somebody in the classroom did something and the teacher got the whole class. Now the whole class like, man, you did this, man, you got that. You probably lost snack time or you lost recess. The whole class was in. It was recess. Everybody, you can hear them on the playground. And everybody had to stay in because of what Ricky was doing. And can't nobody control him. All right. All right. So jump over. So that was 10, right? 10 and 1? 9? No, not that. So second Maccabees chapter 10. And yeah, I know it. It's a lot. I'm trying to fast forward. All right, I'll jump over to 15. It says, and there were the Idumeans, having gotten into their hands the most commodious holds, kept the Jews occupied, and having those that were banished from Jerusalem. They went about to nourish what? Right. Then they that were with Maccabeus made supplication and besought God that he would be their helper. And so they ran with violence upon the strongholds of the Idumeans. So now they got to purge them out. They're trying to purge them out. And assaulting them strongly, they won the holds and kept all of that fault upon the wall. and slew all that fell into their hands, and killed no fewer than 20,000. And because certain who was no less than 9,000 were fled together into two strong castles. Somebody's asking for heat in the basement. You guys with hoodies gonna take them off. Having all manner of things convenient to sustain the siege. So you got to remember who's guiding, and who's helping them. People that were banished. Maccabees left Simon and Joseph and Zacchaeus also, and them that were with him, who were enough to besiege them, and departed himself unto those places which more needed his help. Now they that were with Simon, being led with covetousness, were persuaded for money, though certain of those that were in the castle, or through certain of those that were in the castle, and took 70,000 drams, and let some of them escape. But when it was told Maccabees what was done, so he had people that was covetous of money, and instead of killing them people according to the law, they let some go. Remember, they was covetous about money. They took a bribe. And it was told Maccabees. It says, he called the governors of the people together and accused those men that they had sold their brethren for money and set their enemies free to fight against them. So he slew those that were found traitors. So now he ended up applying the law. We read this in Deuteronomy 18. And immediately took the two castles, and having good success with his weapons and in all things he took in hand, he slew in the two holes more than 20,000. Now Timotheus, whom the Jews had overcome before, when he had gathered a great multitude of foreign forces and horses out of Asia, not a few, came as though he would take Jewry by force of arms. I'm sorry. So they're making a different assault even after the dedication. So it was a win that we were able to celebrate, but the fighting and the warring, it wasn't over. But when he drew nigh, they that were with Maccabees turned themselves to pray unto the Most High, and sprinkled earth upon their heads, and girded their loins with sackcloth. So they were humbling themselves instead of trying to be all dripped up, because they had some success and they probably had some coin in their pocket, a few pieces of gold here and there. Now they was humbled. They wanted the Most High to see that, hey, we're humble and our success comes from you, and we could do nothing except you fight these battles for us. That's what all that is signifying. And fell down at the feet of the altar and besought him to be merciful to them, and to be an enemy to their enemies, and an adversary to their adversary, as the law declareth. So after the prayer, they took their weapons and went on further from the city. And when they drew nigh to their enemies, they kept by themselves. Now the sun being newly arisen, they joined both together, one part having together with their virtue their refuge also unto the Lord for a pledge of their success and victory. The other side making their rage leader of their battle. But when the battle waxed strong, there appeared unto the enemies from heaven 5 comely men upon horses with bridles of gold. So now the Greeks is seeing this. They having an apparition. They having a sighting of 5 men on horses, whose the bridle is the thing that you sit on, made of pure gold, and 2 of them led the Jews. So when the scriptures say that the Most High is going to guide you in 2nd Ezra 16, the thing that someday, some brothers and sisters, you are going to have the success of being guided by the Most High. Let's say that this is what he could be talking about. So are we clear up until this point? All right. Now, so it says, and took Maccabeus betwixt them, meaning between the two horses, and covered him on every side with their weapons, and kept him safe. So if angels is keeping Judas safe, nobody's going to be able to destroy him, touch him. But shot arrows and lightnings against the enemies, so that they are that being confounded with blindness and full of trouble, they were killed. So look at how the Most High was protecting them. And there were slain of footmen 20,500 and 600 horsemen. As for Timotheus himself, he fled into the very stronghold called Gazara, where Chareas was governor. But they that were with Maccabeus laid siege against the fortress courageously 4 days. And they that were within, trusting to the strength of the place, blasphemed exceedingly and uttered wicked words. So the ones that was in hiding, they was talking crap because they thought that the place that they were hiding was, a safe haven and nobody could get to them. Nevertheless, upon the 5th day, early, 20 young men of Maccabeus' company, inflamed with anger because of the blasphemies, assaulted the wall manly, and with a furious courage killed all that met with them. Others likewise ascending after them, whilst they were busy with them that were within, burnt the towers, and kindling fires, burnt the blasphemers alive, and others broke the open gates, and having received in the rest of the army, took the city, and killed Timotheus, that was hid in a certain pit, and Chareas his brother, with Apollonius. Now these are all Greeks. When this was done, they praised the Most High with psalms, thanksgiving, and who had done so great things for Israel and given them the victory. Chapter 11 and 1. Now, long after this, Lysias, the king's protector and cousin, who managed the affairs, took sore displeasure for the things that were done, meaning the killing of those Greeks. They get sore in a bunch when white people are killed. And when they had gathered about 80,000, that's what fourscore is. So now they put together 80,000 and with all the horsemen, and he came against the Jews. That's a lot of people. Wow. That's a sea of people, man. That means you can never see the end of this. You guys heard this? 80,000 people. Soldiers lined up, you will never see the back of them. They're gonna fight and fight and fight, doesn't matter how many lives they lose. Let us continue. Thinking to make the city an habitation of the Gentiles, thinking to make Jerusalem a land of Esau, and to make a gain of the temple as of the other chapels of the heathen, and to set the high priesthood to sale every year. What does that mean? That means the leaders of the people that they would control. And if you wanted to be on that board that had something to say with your own people, then you had to pay for it. They eventually had success and got it. And it was like that during the time of the Christ. But they didn't have the Christ. Neither did they have John the Baptist, and neither did they have some true believers that believed in the Christ, John, and some of the old prophets. They didn't have those guys. But they had the Levitical priesthood. Okay? Let's see. What verse was that? 33, 4. Somebody help me out. What verse? About this, about having to sell?
Last verse.
Oh, okay. Verse 4. Not at all considering the power of God, but puffed up with his. So Second Maccabees 11:4. Not at all considering the power of God, but puffed up with 10,000s of footmen and his thousands of horsemen and his 80,000 elephants, or fourscore. Or 80, not 80,000, but 80 elephants, because one score is 20. Okay. So he came to Judea and drew near to Bashur, which was a strong town, but distance from about 5 furlongs. And he laid sore siege unto it. Now they that were with Maccabeus heard that he besieged the host, they all the people with lamentation and tears besought the Lord that he would send a good angel to deliver Israel. All praises. So I guess they knew about this, the history and the stories that the Most High will send angels to deliver Israel. Now that we could learn this same thing, that the Most High does send angels to deliver Israel, and you can pray the Most High through the Christ for Him to do the same thing, to send angels to deliver our people, deliver us. All right, so keep that in mind. Don't just be out here in the spirit of fear and trembling, buckled, and because you'll be fear will have your faith forsake you. Now you can't even operate, and you'll be doing things. You won't even be listening unto the spirit of the Most High in your mind, and you won't be listening to anybody else try to tell you, whether they tell you to calm down, it's gonna be okay. You won't believe it because your faith has forsaken you because of the spirit of fear. You're supposed to know, let me pray unto the Lord, pray unto the Most High, and let me stand on my prayers and let me see what the end is going to be, having hope that the Most High is going to come through, and He's going to be that night. He's going to be through the Spirit. He's going to be that angel that come through and deliver you in your situation, and that it's your righteousness that you have kept towards the Most High that will get you the favor. Not that you've been a demon the whole time, unbelieving and doing what you want to do, and now you're like, Lord, help, save me. Right? So 11:7. Second Maccabees 11:7. Now Maccabeus himself, first of all, took weapons, exhorting the others that they would jeopard themselves together with him to help their brethren. So they went forth together with a willing mind, and as they were at Jerusalem, there appeared before them on horseback one in white clothing, shaking his armor of gold. When they praised the merciful God all together and took heart, in so much that they were ready not only to fight with men, but with most cruel beasts, and to pierce through walls of iron. So what are the cruel beasts? You know those elephants? Those elephants were like 10, 12,000 pound pit bulls. They had the taste of blood. So those